You've seen Spam. You know it, you love it. But have you seen this? Yeah, me neither. It's called Treet. But here we are, comparing a beloved canned meat to something I've never heard of until rather recently. And today, we're going to compare the two. But first, what led us here? Well, Spam, unfortunately, is expensive. A 12-ounce can at my local Walmart costs $3.94. That's more expensive than a real piece of meat. Pork shoulder at the same store costs $1.94 a pound. A can of Spam isn't even a full pound. Sure, it can last for years, but I'm gonna take the real meat every day of the week. So when I saw Treet, a nondescript Spam knockoff, I was intrigued. A can, which is also 12 ounces, goes for $2.08. That's nearly half the price of Spam. So I, a broke college kid, bought a can, and already a big Spam fan, will see if this underdog can claim my favorite canned meat title. But first, let's have a brief history lesson. Spam was introduced to the public in 1937, but really gained traction during World War II in the 40s due to the meat shortage. It would become a staple of the soldier's diet, and because of this, it gained some names. A few include ham that didn't pass its physical, meatloaf without basic training, and special army meat. In 2012, Spam sold its 8 billionth can. That's a lot of meat. Hence, Spam is an international food. But what about the so-and-so knockoff? Well, it was introduced to the world in 1939, a mere 2 years after Spam. However, unlike Spam, the description of the Wikipedia page says, it has a more finely ground texture than Spam, more akin to bologna or Vienna sausages. That's important for later. Now that we know about each, let's crack into them. Our first subject is Spam. Now, popping the lid is rather easy, and let's see how long it takes to get the meat out of the can. This will be important for later. It's a little struggle, but we can let gravity do its job. About 8 seconds later, the meat finally falls out, so let's cut a few slices. Here comes the fun part, Treet. Now, the lid is a tad difficult to open. It took almost 12 seconds to expose the meat, but this is where it gets rough. Trying to get the contents out of the can took a hot minute. 1 minute and 17 seconds to be exact. That's about 11 times longer than Spam. The first thing I noticed is that it's very slimy and wet. If we get a slice, we can see little white spots of fat. This kind of reminds me of mortadella. Compared to Spam, it's more colorful and shiny. Anywho, now that we have all of our slices together, let's fry them up. We have our pan over medium-high heat, and it's ready when the slices sizzle on contact. We'll get those cooked on one side. Now, personally, I like my Spam nice and crispy. But seeing the Treet slice so caramelized, I had to call it early. Now, with each flipped, we're going to let it cook for a tad longer. Once those are done, we'll put them to the side. Now, here's where the fun begins. The fried Treet slice has the best crust. I don't know why, but it sounds nice. Let's dig in, starting with the uncooked Spam slice. Yeah, it tastes just like plain Spam. It's not horrible, it's just overwhelming. Not pleasant, and I'm never gonna eat it in this state. 4 out of 10. Now, this is the part I'm excited for. I've never tried this, so let's cut a small piece. As you can see, there's those fat pieces. Let's taste. This is kinda shocking. It tastes like a sweet bologna. Don't get me wrong, I like bologna, but the extra sweetness isn't winning me over. I'm not a fan. 6 out of 10. Fortunately, we're on to the fried Spam. It's got a classic crust. Let's taste. Yeah, that hits the spot. It's much better than the uncooked variant. It's warm, it has the wonderful contrast between the crispy edge and the soft inner, and it's a classic. 8 out of 10. But now for the final one. As you can see, it got much darker while cooking, and I'm hoping that it doesn't taste burnt. It tastes just like the uncooked one, but warmer with a crust. I prefer it less. 5 out of 10. Now, one of my favorite ways to eat Spam is with the Bakken's Japanese sauce. It adds a nice teriyaki flavor to the Spam, so I'm gonna try both. Now, the Spam one is great, per usual. But what about the Treet? Let's get it saucy and taste it. It tastes just like the cooked Treat with teriyaki sauce. Sure, it's better, but the cooked bologna taste doesn't pair that well with the Asian sauce. I guarantee that there's better ways to eat this. Anyways, thanks a ton for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.